Hey, what's up, guys? It's Billy. Getting ready to kick this 2-week unit off. My original thought was going with flexible learning environments, and a couple themes kind of emerged for me at Actum, and over the past month, the school's begun, and I decided to make my change to leveraging your PLN to connect globally. So we're going to look at the essential question: how can we develop classroom experiences that create opportunities to connect, learn, and appreciate cultures from around the world? So obviously, being in a small town of Old Orchard Beach, Maine, and being just anywhere in Maine, it's tough to get our kids to connect globally and to see that bigger picture of our world and have that appreciation and empathy. Some of the things that Walter hit on is digital citizenship module. So I think a lot of these pieces tie into flexible learning environment, which is where I was originally going. But for me, I think I've really started to become more passionate, more invested in the idea of PLN. I have my Twitter handle there and the Tweety Bird because I'm a Twitter guy. But just because Twitter's my thing doesn't mean that some sort of option like Google Plus or Facebook or some other form of PLN will be better for you. That's just my thing. It's what's worked for me. And I've been connecting my class globally, and I've just seen kind of how engagement goes through the roof. And I showed the example of the blog challenge last week. I'll dive a little more into the components this week. And yeah, I think just the reason I want to go down this avenue is because it's two things that I'm very passionate about, and I think I can speak to those things a little better than I could. Not that I couldn't for flexible learning environment, but these are the focus areas of my classroom right now. And so I'm going to have you answer this essential question: how can we develop classroom experiences that create opportunities to connect, learn, and appreciate cultures from around the world? And that's going to be your mission, and I'll get into a little more about that later. But let's go. I wanted to look at this quote here. This is from my buddy Jonathan Werner from Cape Elizabeth. And your transformation begins long before you take action. And the most important part of the process is preparation. We know as teachers that we have to be prepared. What I love about my PLN is it opens up possibilities that I haven't even seen coming to me yet, and they come to me. That's the thing, is they come to me. That's the crucial piece. So before you take action, before you find those people that you want to work with, you got to have the platform to connect. You can't transform your room without being connected somehow. And Twitter has done that for me. It's connected me to the world. It's also connected to my students. So I want to take a look at the PLN from two perspectives. Okay, I want to take a look at the PLN from being a connected educator. So how has it changed me as an educator? And here's the before Twitter, after Twitter. And these are kind of like what I would call my big ideas that come from this infographic. When I need help, I have a large variety of people I can ask with specialties, and they're happy to help. They don't feel like a burden. If you're new to Twitter, don't be scared. People out there want to help. They're passionate about education. There's a reason why they make that investment to kind of have that professional PLN into bond with people. They're there for you. Nobody's there to judge. People are there to help. They love kids and they love what they do. Next, chats often provide forums to focus reflection and further engagement beyond the classroom to involve my practice. Sometimes, have you ever been in your district and you feel like you have some good ideas and you maybe feel a little bit alone out there, or you're feeling like the lone wolf, you're feeling like people look at you differently? Well, Twitter chats and connecting with people on Twitter can be both validating and also challenge the way you think to make your ideas better. And overall, what we're really trying to do, and what I'm trying to do as an educator, is to make an experience that's best for my kids. That's all I want to do. And I've found that being connected has completely, transformed the possibilities in terms of finding resources, in terms of connecting my classes, in terms of having someone out there that I could send a tweet out and 2 seconds later, and sometimes a couple minutes later, I have a lesson plan or example. So I'm always gathering ideas from people and just kind of building it into my own, and that's what I really appreciate it. appreciate about being connected. So for those of you who aren't connected, I'm just going to bring you in quickly, just show you my Twitter page, and just give you the basics of Twitter, and that way, if you're starting your PLN, you'll kind of know where to go. So I would do this. If you're new to Twitter, the first thing I did was, one of the first people I connected with was Jonathan Werner. Okay, so what I did was I went to who he was following, and then I took a quick look at these, and I looked through, and I spent some time seeing if these are types of people that I would follow. Okay, here's Jen Adams. She's a tech integrator in Scarborough. Just met her up at Actum. I could click on Jen and just kind of search, see if she's someone that's providing resources or knowledge or anything that you feel would help you out as a teacher. If you feel like that way, you could follow her. I'm already following here. And then take a look at who she's following. So that's going to be my one tip, and I'm going to leave you with that. When I come back here is check out maybe who I'm following or someone that you know on Twitter if you're already there and you trust, and start to see who they're following and start to build. PLN takes time, okay? It takes time, takes investment. I hop on Twitter and do this type of stuff quite often. I've got a strong group of people I'm following now, so I spend a lot of time checking out hashtags and following just coming here to my home button, and in the morning when I wake up, I go down and I spend about 15-20 minutes just scrolling through like this. Is there anything that catches my eye? Just kind of looking right now. Maybe we can show you an example. See if there's a resource or something that I'd like to check out real quick. Bullying Prevention Month. That might be something that catches my eye. I click on the link, and boom, I got resources for Bullying Prevention Month. Pretty cool stuff. So, back over here. Moving on to connected students, and I have a couple docs, and I'm going to show you the docs in a moment, and I'm going to let you dive deeper into them. I just want to kind of give you the quick overview. What I'm really becoming passionate about this year is connecting my students. So let me just kind of give you an idea of what I do. First of all, this is the parents' pipeline into my classroom. They love it. They see everything that's going on. It gives them table talk for dinner at night, and I try to post videos, reflections, blogs, everything that my kids are working on, so that way they can see what's going on in our classroom. What I do is I strictly follow other classrooms that we interact with on here. So you won't see this class following any educators or people like that, because we don't need it. I don't want anything like that coming through our stream. All we want to do is follow our people that we enjoy. So when we come to our home button, you're going to notice there are some teachers, but for the most part, it is just classrooms. Okay, and so what I like to do here is sometimes we spend some time in the morning checking out some of our friends that we follow. Oh, I'm on me. What am I doing? Let me come back to this. Sorry, guys. I was logged in as me. Let's get back over here. Here we are. Good. So let's take a look what's on my feed. This afternoon, we had students working on Digit Week, and we did some reflections with the Seesaw app. If I log in,
I learned that
here's a reflection from my student.
you should not share your passwords and
Get the point. Got my students in action. Digit Week activity in RTI, student choice, digital passport, privacy module, and we just brainstormed a list of. So we're sharing things that are going on in our classroom. We're hashtagging to OB Schools. And what's really cool about our OB Schools hashtag is we've got teachers district-wide telling our story. So Twitter is a great way to tell your story within your district. And sometimes, you know, parents want to know what's going on in your classroom. Well, Mr. Moore was doing read aloud today with QR codes. Mr. C's class was working on comics with the Book Creator app and Digital Passport. Ms. Rosignol's class, they were doing flying solo responses. Up at the high school, Ms. Partridge, they were working on analyzing classic and contemporary images. Cool stuff. A little shot from the lunch. Mr. Shabo and his son Jared. RTI, kids working on RAS. Science today, STEM life cycles. You get the point. Oops, come back here. Now, what I want to show you is how we're connecting with other classrooms. So, if we scroll down today, one thing we're working on right now is the primary blog challenge, as you guys know. Here's the primary blog hashtag. If we come into the hashtag, we can see all the action that's going on. I'm not sure if there's any more tweets from our friends. So through the primary blog challenge, we are able to kind of post videos.
Our blog.
Here's a step-by-step publishing to kid blog piece that we did today.
Do I have to write it? I use Command A to highlight everything and Command C to copy. Go to KidBlog and Command V.
Nice, and it even saves those images right in there in all your hyperlinks. Love it.
Add our tags. Now I publish.
Okay, so now what's nice is our friends that are out in Vancouver, Houston, and Baltimore are using the same hashtag, and we're kind of blowing it up today. Here's another action shot. We tweeted to them. Commenting here, so they'll get those tweets and see what we were doing in our classroom to read their blogs today and respond.
We're reading each other's blogs.
Those boys right there that we just saw are actually reading the blogs from Vancouver, and they're commenting. Our mini lesson was focused on appropriate commenting, and let me tell you right now, these students are making connections, they're asking questions, they're motivated because there's someone on the other end. All right. And these ladies here are at the publishing phase where they're reading, reflecting, revising together. And then the last phase today was over here with me, when students are actually publishing to KidBlog. Here's Mr. Bataro's class, who's sharing some videos of what his kids were doing. So you can see how cool the power can be when they're connecting. We are having these videos. When our kids watch these videos, I can't begin to explain how their eyes light up. They get to see those students in Vancouver who are actually showing us the work that they're doing and bringing us to their culture and their native land, so we can see their streams. Okay, and then in return, we're making connections with them. We wrote a post back to them sharing a website from our Milliken Mills trails here in Old Orchard that kids made. So we're starting to push out our content and publish it a little more so kids can learn. Our kids are becoming the teachers through their own blog posts, which is really cool. And I told you guys last week, I said these were in creation, and guess what? We almost done publishing, so here's what one of those blogs look like. So we're taking our blogs and publishing them, so our kids are becoming teachers. The students out in these other cities are reading these blogs, and they're going to come and respond. So our kids are learning a lot through the process, citing image sources, we're citing pages that they used, searching safe websites like maine.gov, and these are third graders. This is third graders doing this work, but I'm not pulling teeth. And you know what? This connection would not be possible with technology, without Twitter, without those connections I've made with my PLN. Okay, so that's just kind of a couple examples of how we're connecting our classroom. And I was all over the place there, sorry, but you get the point. So, now, let's explore. So, I'm going to share these docs with you guys. So, your goal this week, or your objective this week, is to take a look at my Twitter PLN doc. Okay? And I'll just kind of go over this. You know, when you start to build your PLN, all right, it's what you want it to be. Okay? You can begin by following or lurking, like I told you. And just know that this isn't just about tech. Tech is the tool. This is really about just good teaching. Okay? Then these are a couple of teachers I like to follow. A couple examples just to get you started. And if you're brand new to Twitter, try the Tweet Me app. I think that all of you at least have an account. But the Tweet Me app is pretty sweet. You can download it on your iPad, and it'll give you all the breakdown of how to use Twitter. Now, this is Jonathan Werner's intro. This is a YouTube video. Remember how I told you how I got started? Well, Jonathan, if you're a beginner, will break down in this video all the ins and outs.
All right, perfect, good.
Of starting with Twitter. He gives a little history of his beginning with Twitter, and then he hops into Twitter himself, and he shows you how to kind of get your PLN started by searching. He talks about ed chats. He talks about just navigating Twitter and gives you some handy tips. So that's a great watch. I would recommend that. Here's the hashtag guide here from Cybraryman. So explore these. If you need some help kind of like navigating your way through these hashtags, please post it on our thread. And what I'll do is I'll help you navigate these educational hashtags because there's a ton of them. So if there's one of interest, or if you have an area of expertise or something you want to focus on, and you're just looking at this list saying, "Holy smokes, Billy, that's way too overwhelming for me," let me know, and I can help you filter through these hashtags and try to find a hashtag that's really one that you want to explore. A little more on Twitter chats. Some examples of like how Ms. Rule at the high school is using Twitter with students, which is cool. If you click on this, this is a blog I wrote. Breaks down how she's using Twitter chats with her students. Pretty cool, right? So she'll pose a question, and the kids will respond with the OB High School Micro hashtag. Sweet stuff. Here's some Twitter lists, which are great. So this is awesome. If you're whatever you teach, you could find, or if you're an integrator like Vicky, you could, here's some nice options for you. These are pre-K 2 grade classrooms who tweet, 3-5, 6-8, and 6-12. So if you want to connect with 3-5 classrooms, click on this list, go check it out. These are all teachers who tweet. So you can start to follow these people, check them out, and see if these are some people that would make sense for you to start connecting to your class. My goal is this week, I want to get you going. I want you to be able to get your feet wet, feel comfortable. So what my goal is over these next couple weeks is to be available with Google Hangout and through chat. If you'd like to set up a Google Hangout with me, I'd love to do it, and we can just we can screen share with each other. We can dive deeper into some questions you may have for me. Okay, I'm gonna click out, boom, and come back here, and then creating a globally connected classroom. So here's another presentation. I've given a couple presentations in the past few weeks within my district in Actum, and here is my globally connected classroom doc. Okay. I also included the link to the CMR doc from last week. So all I'm going to ask you to do is explore these. And when I start to think globally, I think with the CMR model. And I broke down what that looks like for you last week in terms of taking that example of the graphic organizer. And so this is what it's all about. I mean, we don't have to be on the read the definition part, but in my class, I think there's a spot for all of it. And I think that often when we're answering that essential question, it's the purpose. What's the end goal? And for me, it's about my students being teachers. It's about my students having voices. It's about my students being heard. And that's the platform that Twitter's provided for my students. It provides them a place to publish. All right? It provides them a place to connect. And it provides them a place to teach other students, what's essentially what they're doing right now. And that is extremely motivating. Okay? So here's all the, here's all my links on blogs, on KidBlog, getting started, some examples. I give you everything, all my blogging guides, my rubrics, and all that jazz. And then the last piece is connecting with mystery Skypes, which are awesome. So I have some examples here, and I can help you get started. Let's come back. So, finishing out. Back to the essential question. How can we develop classroom experiences that create opportunities to connect, learn, appreciate cultures from around the world? I want you to respond with, you can do a video, you could design a blog. If you haven't signed up for Twitter, sign up for Twitter and connect with someone. Join a mystery Skype. I mean, I'm just asking you right here. Do something. Connect somehow to begin the road of answering that essential question this week. Okay, that's your goal. And I want it to make sense for you. I want the format to make sense for you. I don't want to add too much to your plate. I'm hoping that maybe I just kind of spark a little motivation to do something different and connect in a different way. Many of you might already be doing these types of things. But let's get the conversation going around this essential question. and let's use the opportunity to respond through the thread. And I'll pose this out to you guys. If you want, would people be interested in doing a Google Hangout on this topic, on this essential question, and have an EdCamp style Google Hangout where we just have a conversation? And if people have questions of me and they want to know a little more about any of these components, I could do a Hangout next week. I'm thinking that might be our best option. So, all right, guys, let's take this to the internet now. I've been blabbering away for too long. Thank you.